Hello guys, and welcome back to Reading Club. Today I'm going to read you that 117 story treehouse, the last chapter. Here we go. Chapter 13, the last chapter. We float up and away and away until eventually we come to the city. We drop Mr. Big Nose and the filing monster off at Big Nose Books. Thanks for the ride, says the filing monster as we float away. And don't forget, yells Mr. Big Nose, your manuscript is due at 5 o'clock, or else. We float on a little farther, and finally, at long last, we are home. What an absolutely splendidly stupendous treehouse you have here, says Dr. Moose. Yes, I've never seen one quite like it, says Boris Benta. Do we have time to look around before we start work, says Beatrix Potty. Of course, I say. We can take you on a tour of the main attractions in our penguin-powered flying treehouse tour bus. Okay, we're ready. Jill gives Boris, Beatrix, and Dr. Moose a ticket each. Tickets, please, says Jill, collecting the tickets as they climb aboard the bus. Shouldn't you be helping on the roof? No. Terry gets in the driver's seat, and I put on my treehouse tour guide hat and starts the tour. Could you speak up? I can't hear. How interesting. Blah, blah, blah. Ba-doom. Welcome aboard, I say as we take off. Our treehouse has 117 levels. Some are fun, some are scary, some are fun and scary, and some are scary and fun. Do you have any food? Says Boris back. I'm famished. Me too. Of course we do, I say. We have ice cream, lollipops, popcorn, marshmallows, pizza, submarine sandwiches, and a chocolate waterfall. You can swim and eat at the same time. Do you have anything a little more filling, says Boris back. I'm so hungry I could eat a couch. We have just the thing, I say. Terry, take us to the all-you-can-eat, including the furniture level. Roger that, says Terry. On all-you-can-eat, including the furniture level, Dr. Moose pulls some daffodils from a vase and eats them. Then he crunches up the vase as well. Beatrix chews on the chocolate-coated chair. Boris eats a whole couch. Ah, he says, licking his lips, just like the couch Mother used to bake. Terry, Jill, and I end up eating everything else. Being chased by the story police sure does give you an appetite, I say. Roger that, says Terry. Well, I say, let's get on with the tour. We all file back onto the bus and continue the tour. We tour high, blah, blah, blah. We tour low, blah, blah, blah. We tour fast, blah, blah, blah. We tour slow, blah, blah, blah. We go, blah, blah, blah. In we go, blah, blah, blah. And we go, blah, blah, blah. And we go, blah, blah, blah. Stop, says Dr. Moose, pointing at our beautiful sunny meadow full of buttercups, butterflies, and bluebirds. Can we land down there? Of course, I say. Terry parks the bus, and we all get out. Oh, look, says Beatrix, a family of field mice. Stay still, my little friends, while I sketch you. Get off, I'm not a rock, I'm a tortoise. Boris back lies on his stomach in a patch of buttercups. Ah, my, this sun is doing my back a power of good, he says. His stomach doesn't touch the ground. Yippee, I'm free, says Dr. Moose, galloping off across the meadow as fast as his thundering hoofs can carry him. Goodbye, Dr. Moose. Dr. Moose! I yell, stop! But Dr. Moose just keeps going and going and going. I hope he comes back in time to help us write the book, says Terry. No, not when he gets like this, he won't, says Beatrix, looking up from her sketching. He can run for days, you know. He may be a doctor and an accomplished author-illustrator, but he's also a wild animal. I think I can get him back with my moose lasso, says Jill, pulling a long piece of rope out of her portable animal rescue kit. Do you mind? Jill swings the rope expertly around her head and then let it fly. It sails across the meadow and snurs Dr. Moose around the antlers. Jill drags Dr. Moose back to the bus. Sorry about that, says Dr. Moose, panting. Once I get going, I just can't stop myself. No need to apologize, I say as the bus takes off. Now, if you look down there, you'll see a giant fighting robot arena. Giant fighting robot? Says Beatrix. Can we have a go? Are you sure? I say the giant fighting robot suits are pretty dangerous. Danger is my middle name, says Beatrix. Mine too, says Dr. Moose. Mine as well, says Boris. And without waiting for permission or for Terry to land, all three leap from the windows of the bus. By the time we land, Beatrix, Boris, and Dr. Moose are suited up and ready to rumble. They circle each other wearily until I ding the bell, and then the fight is on. Kick! Punch! Stomp! Crush! Throw! Oh, my poor old back. Pound! Oh, my poor old back. They blast each other with laser beams, high voltage electricity, and fireballs. My beard's on fire! The whole tree is shuddering and shaking. We should stop them, says Terry. I know, I said, but how? It's not like we can just go in there and break it up. We can't, says Jill, but maybe the Trunkinator can. The Trunkinator is strong, I say, but I don't know if he's stronger than 3 giant fighting robots. I think he is, says Jill. And besides, what's the alternative? We can't just let them fight until the whole tree is destroyed. I'm going to fetch him. Jill comes back with the Trunkinator and whispers instructions in his ear. The Trunkinator leaps into the ring. Robo Beatrix, Robo Boris, and Robo Dr. Moose stop fighting with each other and turn to face their new opponent. Robo Boris steps forward. Put up your duke, he says. I can't watch, says Jill, covering her eyes. Boris Benback is definitely asking for it, and the Trunkinator certainly lets him have it. Punch. With one punch of his mighty trunk, he sends Boris flying out of his robot suit, up into the air, and down onto the watermelon smashing level. No, stop! That's not a watermelon! Robo Beatrix and Robo Dr. Moose immediately back away. I surrender, says Beatrix. Me too, says Dr. Moose. I leap into the ring, hold up the Trunkinator's trunk, and declare him the winner. Beatrix and Dr. Moose got out of their robot suits and rushed to the watermelon smashing level. We fly over and land the bus next to Boris, who is lying motionless beside a pile of unsmashed watermelons. Beatrix is kneeling beside him, fanning his face. Are you okay, Boris? Says Beatrix. Never felt better, says Boris, suddenly leaping up and stretching out his full height. The Trunkinator punched me so hard, he unbent my back. I haven't felt so good in years. Me neither, says Dr. Moose. We look around to see him enthusiastically smashing watermelons. I've always wanted to smash a watermelon, he says, and now I have. Can we smash some watermelons too, says Beatrix. Well, I say, it's not an official part of the tour, but since we're here, it may as well. After all, those watermelons aren't going to smash themselves. Hee hee. Poor little melons. Well, this is a lot of fun, I say, but we've got a book to make. Now let's down, everybody. It's time to get back on the bus. Our visitors resume their seats, and Jill hands out hot towels so everybody can clean themselves up. We fly through the branches at top speeds and lands in our high-tech office. We all leave the bus, grab pencils, pens, paintbrushes, and paper, and set to work. Authoring and illustrating, and authoring, and illustrator authoring, and author illustrating, and author illustrator authoring, and illustrator author illustrating, and illustrator author authoring, and author illustrator illustrating, and author, illustrating, illustrating, and authoring, and illustrator, author, authoring, and illustrating. And author, illustrator, author, illustrating, and illustrator, author, illustrator, authoring, and author, illustrator, illustrating, author, illustrator, illustrating, authoring, until it's all finished. That was fun, says Boris, but how are we going to get it to your publisher in time? It's almost 5 o'clock. Couldn't you use your tour bus to deliver it, says Dr. Moose. I'm afraid not, says Jill. The penguins are tired and need a rest. Never fear, says Terry. I can make a dot. Draught. What's a draught? I say. It's a remote-controlled dot, says Terry, like a drone, but more dotty. Here, I'll show you. Oh, how cute, says Dr. Moose. Yes, says Jill. It looks like a little animal. Does it have a name? It's called Draught, says Terry, and it may be cute, but it has a very important job to do. Terry attaches the manuscript to Draught and picks up the remote control. Draught rises into the air and zips out of the treehouse. We can track its progress on Draught Cam, Terry says. We gather around the Draught Cam screen and watch as Draught travels over the forest, across the city, and through Mr. Big Nose's office window, and lands on his desk. Excellent, says Mr. Big Nose. 5 o'clock, right on the Draught. I'll deal with it immediately, sir, says the filing monster. I'll file the Draught under D and the manuscript under M. Well, that worked out quite nicely, says Terry. Yes, I say, I had to admit it, but your dumb Draught story wasn't so dumb after all. I agree, says Jill. In fact, I think it's the undumbest dumb dot story I've ever heard. Thanks, says Terry. Hey, Andy, do you think we can make a dot level in the treehouse? You mean a level where there's nothing but dots? I said. Yeah, says Terry, a non-stop dot level. Why not? I say, the dots really came through for us in this book. It's the least we could do. We can add it to the list of new stories for the 130 story treehouse. Yay, says Terry, let's get started right away. Hold on, I say, not so fast. Right now we have something much more important to do. What could be more important than building the next 13 stories of our treehouse, says Terry. Having a pajama party, that's what, I say. There's one starting in 5 minutes and everyone's invited. Hooray, says Boris. I love pajama parties. So do I, says Dr. Moose. Me too, says Beatrix. Can all your animals come as well, Jill? Of course, says Jill. They love pajama parties. Well, what are we waiting for, says Terry. Let's do it. So we do. The end. That's the end of this channel and this book. If you liked it, please click many likes and subscribe. This was an amazing book, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new book. Bye, everybody.